we were trying to look at like happiness.
What are your thoughts on the events of today?
My thoughts.
Yes.
I had a great experience with the programming. I did a little research prior to coming, so that I could be prepared about talk about express like the subject matter device and background, but I'm glad that I did that I had that information.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
It's just hard
things like this. People live,
we
really
live our lives and we're aware that these things happen. We're aware that we live in a world where people around that there are people in prison that are innocent what they've been charged with. They're sitting there and they're innocent of the crime that they were charged with. It's one thing to know that, and you have some level of cognitive dissonance. It sucks, right? And you know that, and you kind of store that within you, within your heart, and it breaks the heart, and you feel bad about it. But you go on kind of living your life, doing that.
Right.
Completely different thing. But here's the voice of somebody.
Why would you live like that? You want to be the one to
hear their words. Speak from that experience.
What is your
to get on a bus?
What's the what?
And ride on a highway, stand in a line, visit somebody who's lived in that reality.
The social worker needing to shrink that back into this
I think it's adopted now. Knowing that they have a date.
It shows that it's like it's people who do the same stuff, right? They thought
where this is all
they're going to sit on the beach
in a bed. So
well,
that makes it completely real and a whole way.
Speaking forward, but then kind of realize, the reason I have this job at Google ages ago was like
it makes me look at myself and say, how do
problems about how
do you live all the time?
How computer language
knowing that people
do something
and
yes.
I mean, what could you do, right? You have to drive a truck through the door and then you'll walk it up. You can't do that, but knowing what I know today, I don't know how I was on time being okay.
But it did make a lot of people
knowing that this happened. Feeling this way.
I don't actually inform them younger.
So I think I'm trying to profoundly respect it
from the job.
This experience today. I don't know what I could wrong. But I do know that there's something that I know.
Yeah, it's going to complete the labor. Really fascinating point. I never thought of it like that, but yeah. I don't stop not
yeah, that's pretty heavy. That's real heavy.
That's
what I want from this.
Because it's almost like crisis of conscience. Yeah.
And like you knew, like we all open.
Right.
So like, you know, we confronted. We're confronted with that. You know, we have to ask ourselves, is you just not there?
Right.
And if you did it, why? Did you just not care because it was your brother, your son, your father?
Right.
Why does it take your brother, your son, your father for you to care?
Right.
You know?
Good question.
We all have to have that. Why does it have to take someone to be care about us? Yeah.
Yeah. More questions than answers.
You know, I had a friend who had a difficult fatherly man to a woman who probably wasn't very fond of you know, the hippies. And you know, I knew this kid from grade school. Came in class in fourth grade. I feel like he's in the courtroom. And we're hearing him screaming for help as we're riding the class. He grew up and very early on. Into his adulthood, 19 years. Somebody had and so that person put to him.
Right.
And so he admitted murdering. As he was beat out because they arrested him, put him in prison, you know, put him in jail,
Right.
right? And they asked for him to intercede. And so he just like, yeah, I did it. Okay, sure. Without, you know, without good representation and no one to advocate for him. And everybody is under like five. I mean, he's literally been there since the late 90s. Without, you know,
Been looking up on a couple different websites.
you can get out to 2045.
Okay. You find out.
It's like most of the place don't be in there, and I feel so bad. But this is like because of stuff that started before they're not in.
Right.
Then later on before. I was there with I didn't do.
It's just the right.
Right.
But another classmate of mine, if he lived by him, like he got a prison, and she said that he kept asking her. He kept like writing her a lot of letters, asking her. Got her.
only thing that they had been fighting.
So it's like, maybe I need to like have a parameter and right to him, you know what I mean? And then I think I kind of felt more and more a need for parameters and so what resulted was I never lost the balance.
People who created their.
Because I didn't know what, I didn't know what I needed.
Oh, now we.
So all of the worry about my actions led me to that. I had to do it time now.
Yeah.
But I don't even like to do it.
But it's not a normal, it goes against our nature, goes against human nature, I think. That's why we have a hard time coming to grips with it. We understand nature, it's a part of who we are, but this is artificially created. We don't do well with artificial shit, right? The uncanny valley, right? Where something looks so real, but we know it's not. Our eyes is like something's off, and we don't know how to deal with it. Like, freak out. What would you have wanted to say to him?
Actually, found a way to mess. Found out that he has a online some website where he writes. He like goes pictures and or writing or something. And so I wrote to him there. I left my email. Every so often I go to see if he's ever replied. But I know one day I'm gonna forget. Yeah, I'm gonna forget to send my email. It's a long time between now and 2025.
Yeah.
He's not meant to, like, you know, he's not a type. He was there like a couple of years, they not so it's not been and I look, you know, you can look online and see the pictures and stuff. And you can see like the progression over time. I mean, I know it sounds crazy to say. It's wild to say, like, a person who did something as serious that is another person.
The Hollywood speculating, you know, how far can witch hunts arguing now or how to people it's very kind of like the lines of the idea that, you know, people can
I mean, we know him for 8 years, but I can't get him to stop.
Right. Right.
I'm more tied to the foundation.
Well, that's it. That's limiting your experience.
It would be true.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's fine.